right, hey everyone. Today is March 10th, 2022. This is the DevOps for mobile apps updates, and this is the first sync update that we're doing. So we're trying this experiment. We'll see how it goes. There's at least one other person on the call today, so that'll be fun. But I'll jump in and share my screen like normal. And so here we have the update issue that I create each week for these updates. And so I'll just run through this real quick. Also, as always, I'll include this in the YouTube page as well in the issue or in the video description. So the first section here looks like I have the wrong title on this issue, so I'll fix that later. But like I was saying, this is a sync update experiment. So I've got the schedule for the next upcoming updates for the next 3 weeks. So if you care to join those, come on and you can hear about what we're doing and ask all the questions you want. So as far as the updates for this week, I'm continuing to work on the secure files MVC. And so to give a little bit of context, this is a feature, secure files is a feature that I've been working on that essentially creates the ability to have like binary files as CI variables. And so the point of this is to make it easy for mobile teams to upload their provisioning profiles and key store files and things like that into GitLab in a way that they can control them much like they would a CI variable. And so so that's what this feature is for. There's a bunch of work here kind of in progress around the MVC. So I'm continuing to work through this and hopefully we'll get this to a state soon where we can start testing with some projects on GitLab.com. But the big kind of thing that I worked on this week was looking into, excuse me, using this secure files feature with Fastlane Match. And so to give a bit more context there, I've got a link to Fastlane, and what Fastlane is a open source tool that a lot of mobile teams use to make the build and deploy process easier. It kind of abstracts some of the complexity around like building and deploying to the app stores and things like that. And one of the tools as part of Fastlane is a tool called Match, which is focused on the certificates and provisioning profiles and like making that process a lot easier. Before something like Fastlane Match, you would end up with different certs and profiles on different developers' machines, and it could be kind of a mess, and you don't know which cert or profile is being used when you're deploying your app to the App Store. And then maybe a developer leaves, and then you lose that profile, and everything breaks. So what Match aims to do is to like centralize that data into one backend so that you can have some consistency there, and then you can share those certs and profiles across developer machines, and then you can like actually build that into your deploy pipelines as well. So right now, Fastlane Match offers 3 different backend configurations. So you can use a Git backend, Google Cloud, and AWS S3. And these work fine. I've used, so I built a demo app, and this is kind of the configuration that I use to set it up for using a Git backend. So I just give it it's a separate project, a separate repository, and it stores the certificates in there in an encrypted format. And then you're going to want to make that project private, obviously. And then you just configure the storage backend. So that works pretty well, but I think there is we could do better than that. Google Cloud and AWS are pretty good implementations too. Those are, you can have a bit more control of the security there, but those are also kind of detached from the project. So with what I want to do with secure files is actually be able to hook that, like build a storage backend for Fastlane that goes and uses the secure files for the project. So, sort of an idea of what that might look like is, this is my configuration before, and this is what it would look like after. So I could just give it the project ID or the project identifier, and then just tell it I want to use GitLab secure files. And then what that would do is anytime we go to run a Fastlane build or a Fastlane deploy, it uses the match process as part of that, and then it'll just pull in those certificates from the secure file backend. And so far, I'm about halfway through kind of working up a pull request for this, but the APIs are very similar. So in all of these implementations, they essentially have a download, an upload, and a delete API. And that's exactly how the API works for secure files today. So it should pretty much match exactly the functionality that we would need to have there. So I'm going to continue to work through that and hopefully have a pull request up into the Fastlane project next week. So that is pretty much covers that. So in my up next section, basically the things I'm shooting for next week is to keep making progress on that MVC rollout, and then have a pull request into Fastlane for next week. So that's what I've got for today. Any questions from the audience?
No, thanks. Great update. Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, I will. I'll stop recording, and thanks for joining today.